I always say this, but I'll say it again. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good night. Like I always say, one of my favorite parts about Common Time Online is the true international nature of the community that we are building. And I like to model that in the welcome and salutation that I give when I'm doing events like these. I'm just pulling up my webinar notes here. Forgive me. As you know, and I'm excited for, my name is Michael Skillern, and I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator at Common Time Online and a newly minted co founder. And we are bringing to you our weekly Wednesday evening, for me, webinar series called Wisdom Wednesday, where we share tips, tricks, and trends in virtual learning, the Common Time platform itself, and the greater world of arts education to help you better engage your students, better enrich your arts learning experience, and have a culturally connected, internationally minded mindset when it comes to learning about the arts. And this week we have a very special topic that is not only going to help our artists, not only going to help our educators, but it's also going to shine a light on one of the newer features that the Common Time platform offers, which is the pre-made lesson. So, what is a pre-made lesson? On Common Time Online, when you book an artist to come into your classroom, to come into your home, to come into your organization and work with you or learners you're associated with, you have two options by which you could book an artist, like me, for example. You can build a customized learning experience where you can tell the artist exactly what you need, exactly what outcomes you're looking for. In examples, I did some classes in Germany where the teacher told me, hey, they have a concert in a few weeks where they need to be able to do this, this, and this. So I was able to use my expertise, and they were playing percussion. I was able to come in as the expert percussionist that I am and to make sure that the kids were engaged, that they had a great time, that we explored different cultures, but also that we were able to achieve the outcomes that that educator needed for that time. The second option you have is to choose a pre-made lesson where Common Time artists have pre-built lessons with predetermined outcomes so that you can book them, bring them into your classrooms, into your learning spaces, into your homes in a much faster and easier way without having to actually build out a custom lesson. I kind of akin this to buying a car from the dealership and just buying it versus taking a car and getting it fully customized, getting all the features, getting a new body kit, getting new rims, getting new everything. It's kind of like buying a house or buying a new build house where you've actually got to go through and build it all out. Some people don't want to do that. Some people want to buy a house that's already built. Some people want to build a new construction house. They want to build their own house. And at Common Time, you have both of those options. So first things first, artists, I'm speaking to you. Let's take a look at Common Time really quick. So taking a look at the homepage, check out our Indigenous Music Festival. That's going to be on the weekends in July, where we have 3 artists representing Chinese musical traditions, Middle Eastern musical traditions, and Indian musical traditions. And they'll be sharing their passion, sharing their art, and sharing that culture with you live right here on Common Time. Head over to commontime.online and check the events page for more info. So I'm going to exit out of that pop-up. As always, artists and educators, make sure you are logged in. And first, I'm going to show you, artists and for the educators out there, what goes into creating a pre-made lesson so that you can know what you're purchasing and what you're creating if you're an artist. So head over to my account. Then on the left-hand side, you have lesson offers. So these are the pre-made lessons that I offer. I'm currently offering a classical percussion recital, pencil drumming, beatboxing 101, world drumming and improvisation, a concert percussion clinic, and being rhythmic, which is a great class I do that's all about what does it mean to have rhythm and have good time. So when you scroll down, you get your add a new lesson offering options. And we can add a name, new lesson one. Then we have a description. Here in the description is where the artist, you or the educator, where the artist is going to highlight what they're going to do. So let's say in my new lesson, we are going to work with quarter note rhythms, use music technology, learn vocabulary, oops, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, artists, this is where you're going to put what are the outcomes of that lesson going to be? What materials might you need? We need materials 1, 2, 3. What you're going to be doing. And educators, when you're booking a pre-made lesson, this is where you're going to see exactly what the artist is going to do. Here in the links is where if you need anything to be shared out, a video, a document with the booker, with the learner beforehand, you can place it here. An image as always, the type of lesson. Is this a private lesson, a small group, or a large group? How long the lesson will be, the price, the subject, let's say the subject is general music, what age group this is good for. Artists, this is important. And educators, this helps you when you're booking pre-made lessons because you can see, oh, I'm teaching 7th grade general music. This guy, Michael Skillern, has a pre-made lesson that deals with rhythm. It hits some curricular outcomes for me, which are learning rhythms, using technology, learning vocabulary, and it's right in their age group and it's in English. Then last things last is you click add lesson offer and then you're all done. And once you complete that, your pre-made lessons will come up here. And if you click edit the lesson, you can go back in and change anything that you need to. So artists, that's how you create a pre-made lesson. Let's get into educators now, how you can book a pre-made lesson. So as an educator, of course, you're logged in. Let's go back to the home page here. You're logged in here on the home page and you want to book a pre-made lesson. So you head over to artists and you say, hey, this Michael Skillern guy sure looks handsome and he has 7 5-star reviews. And every time I book a session with him, a child with our Global Schools Forum partner that is in a need-based situation in the Southern Hemisphere will also get a lesson. Let's see. You click on the artist and you can see their profile, all of their info, their artist statement, a video, pictures. Whoops, I accidentally went back. And then you decide, you know what, this is our person. We want this guy. You click book a lesson and bam, right there at the top, you can see the pre-made lesson offerings that are available. This is what it's going to look like for you. Then let's say we got a percussion, so we want them to do something rhythmic. My 8th grade band students have horrible tempo, and we'd like for them to work with a professional guest artist, and we're looking on CommonTime, and we see this being a rhythmic class. It can actually help our entire band play more in time and play with better rhythm. This session is $75. It's a large group session and it's 1 hour. Okay, then you scroll down, check the availability, and you book the time that you need. Then you head over to complete booking and you'll be taken to this screen where you can add your credit card information and then pay. So artists, that's how you make a pre-made lesson. Educators, that's how you book a pre-made lesson. So let's go into why did we make the pre-made lessons? I'll go back to my analogy. We wanted to give all the stakeholders in our community options. We wanted to give artists the option to be able to reuse amazing lesson plans, redo talks that they've given, do what they know works for them and market that in an efficient way. And we wanted to give educators the option to create a pre-made lesson, to create, a custom built for their students, like building a new construction house, or do something that the artist has already kind of suggested through this pre-made lesson, like building a house that's already built. Now let's get into the why. For our artists, when you are being a guest artist with CommonTime or in any part of your career, anytime that you are engaging as a guest artist, it's really amazing for you to do what you know. An example I go back to is when you see Led Zeppelin on tour, they're playing those same songs to a new crowd. So if I know that I am awesome at delivering a beatboxing guest artist session, that is a session that I'm going to want to do over and over. And I'm going to want it to do with as many students as possible. And now that I've created a pre-made lesson, it allows me the opportunity to showcase myself to learners in a way that fits into my comfort zone. So when educators make a custom lesson, that's going to take a little more effort on your part to be able to make sure that you meet their demands, and offering custom learning experiences is one of the hallmarks of the CommonTime platform, but also empowering artists to do what they specialize in and capitalize on their own individual items of expertise is also one of the hallmarks of what we're trying to build here. What we are building, we're not trying, we're doing what we're building here at CommonTime. Secondly, using these pre-made lessons just gives you another opportunity to sell yourself. It lets the educators and learners in the arts organization see you in a different light, see you for what your specialties truly are, and be able to look at where your teaching gifts lie so that they can make sure that they're getting the best bang for their buck as well. And the use of pre-made lessons, I think one of the best things that this does for artists is it gives you the opportunity to turn your lessons into content. Like I said earlier, that great melodica activity that you did 2 years ago with those fifth graders, you remember how to do that? Upload that as a pre-made lesson. Those lesson plans, those unit plans, those activities, those ideas, that's valuable content. That's intellectual property that you deserve to be paid for. So anytime you have a successful lesson, if you're an artist on the platform, come onto your profile, go through the steps that I showed you, and add that activity as a pre-made lesson, because we've learned from other websites like Teachers Pay Teachers and Pinterest that little activity that worked for you that you thought no one would ever care about, there are other teachers who need those activities. There are other teachers who need those ideas, they need those resources, and they need those materials. When people have a need, the answer is monetization, and our platform helps you do that in a quick, easy, seamless way. For educators, how can you use pre-made lessons to increase engagement and also attend to the outcomes that you need to attend to? To answer that question, let's go back and look at the CommonTime platform. I'm still on the checkout page here, but I'll go back to my profile. So when I'm thinking of education and curricular outcomes, I like to think in 4 areas: knowledge, skill, creative thinking, and then responding. So when you're looking at knowledge, if you're dealing with musicians, you're dealing with a general music class, and you clicked on music and you saw my profile. When you look at building knowledge, you can see right from the jump what activities and what offerings I have that build knowledge. For example, beatboxing 101. I have a great image here detailing the history of beatboxing. That's a great opportunity for your students to build knowledge in the context of music making, and you as an educator can see that right from the beginning. So, if you're interested in helping your students build knowledge and you want to bring in a guest artist, it's very clear exactly how that works. Even if you look at this world drumming lesson, you see Cuba here, you see son clave. In the description, you see that we're traveling to Brazil, Cuba, Argentina, West Africa through the language of drumming. And you can see that that's an opportunity for your students to build knowledge. So when you're looking at your curricular outcomes, using these pre-made lessons helps you know exactly how your students are going to learn in this process. The second area that I like to think about when I'm thinking of outcomes is skill, building skill. And right off the bat, you see classical percussion recital, where that's going to be a showcase of these high class percussion skills. You see pencil drumming, they're going to be able to build the skill of being able to do that. Beatboxing is a skill. World hand drumming in this world drumming class is once again a skill. You see the concert percussion clinic, that's all about building knowledge and skills in the area of concert percussion, and being rhythmic is all about building that skill of rhythm and having good time. So you're able to use these pre-made lessons to achieve your goals without having to fully customize your own learning experience. We know that these educators are busy, busy, busy. Next, for creative thinking, when you're thinking, we want to bring in a music guest artist that lives in another country to provide a cultural experience for our students. You can look and see, wow, this world drumming is improvisation. Okay, so if he's teaching them how to improvise, he's teaching them how to create, there's going to be some creative thinking in there as well. And lastly, when you're having your students respond to different things, being rhythmic, having your students respond to a concept, respond to an idea, respond to other people's playing, doing the beatboxing, having your students respond to a cultural provocation. Do they know that beatboxing was invented in India? Can we use music to respond accordingly? Can we respond to our own personal cultures with beatboxing? World drumming. How can we drum with the inspiration of learning rhythms from other cultures? So as an educator, you can achieve all of your curricular outcomes in a clear, concise, guaranteed way by going through and looking at some of the pre-made lesson offerings that different artists offer on the CommonTime platform. In a nutshell, for artists, an excellent way for you to turn your intellectual property into profitable content is by adding pre-made lessons to your CommonTime account. And anytime you're working as a guest artist and you're marketing yourself, being able to tell people what you can do is an amazing starting point. Telling them what you will do, it's an amazing starting point. And with CommonTime, we help you do that in a quick, fast, easy, and seamless way. And secondly, to reiterate, for educators, we know that you're busy. You want to bring in guest artists. We all understand how important it is for our students to have an internationally minded, outside of our four school walls approach when learning anything. But working with a guest artist to custom lesson might be outside of the scope of time that you have. Luckily for you, many of the artists on CommonTime are offering these pre-made lessons where they're listing the outcomes, they're listing how their lessons can build knowledge, skill, creative thinking, or the ability to respond right there in the description. And you can use those to give your students an amazing arts experience while also being able to guarantee what type of learning is going to take place. To wrap up, this is how all stakeholders can benefit from the pre-made lessons feature on CommonTime. As always, this blog video in a written format and this video will be posted on commontime.online/blog, where you can find all of our Wisdom Wednesdays, and you can look at topics like how to create a magical 1-hour virtual session for all you teachers on there that are teaching virtually. how to use CommonTime in a visual arts curriculum, how to promote differentiation in your arts classrooms, how to interject inquiry into your learning, all types of topics, ideas, discussions, educational trends. All of these things are available at commontime.online/blog. As I said earlier in this broadcast, head over to the CommonTime events page to see the great Chinese, Middle Eastern, and Indian music that we're going to be showcasing through our CommonTime artist, Jeffrey Levenberg, who lived a long time in Hong Kong and plays the guzheng. Farzine, who has been a member of this ensemble and will be playing Comanche and Oud and introducing you to Middle Eastern music, and also our good friend Pranoy Chatterjee from India, who will be introducing you to the rhythms of India via his tabla drums. We will be right back here next Wednesday, helping our artists, our educators, our individuals, and our arts organizations get just a little bit better every day, or should I say every week, since we only meet here on Wednesdays. Once again, my name is Michael Skillern, and we'll see you next week for CommonTime's weekly webinar series, Wisdom Wednesdays.